I get it.
Mbijan aganyani.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyingi.
Okay.
Kosa.
Nsila ID soto.
Sasa ndo. Sorry. I get it.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Mbale.
Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jang.
Ha?
Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kodo kiya bere to. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale le dadi ma ni domorol ni fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moyo diat.
Apelenta
ni wo ka ni lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abaraka.
Him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But
Don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
For the first time in the history of the Gambia, Gambia Printing Publishing Corporation proudly introduces the Biliomatic exercise book printing machine. The machine has the capacity to print more than 20,000 books per hour. Yes, 20,000 books per hour. It also prints magazines, newspapers, calendars, flyers, normal books and all kinds of printed documents plus items at affordable prices. With the Biliomatic printing machine, GPPC can now render high-quality and non-size restricted printing service supply across the sub-region. Rush now and partner with GPPC for all your public and private printing service needs. Print with us today and you'd be offered highly professional, reliable and efficient service delivery by our team of experts. The Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is here to meet all demands and is reliable at all times. For more info, contact us on 437-4493 or 437-4402. GPPC is Gambian and it's yours.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Brunch on Kerfatu Live. I'm Labin Cham, back with your weekly look at current affairs here in the Gambia in the last 7 days. This week, we will take a look at the Gambia's preparations for another appearance in the Africa Cup of Nations. That's just under a month away in the Ivory Coast. I will be joined by the Honorable Minister of Sports, who is also the chairman of the National Coordinating Committee, which is overseeing the Gambia's participation in this second edition of the Africa Cup of Nations. He will be accompanied by Musa Sise, who is president of the Gambia Sports Journalists Association, representing the media in that National Coordination Committee. So if you are a football fan and you want to know how the Gambia is preparing, what is available, what is not available, what is being planned, so this is the place to be in the next 1.5 hours or so. You can also comment if you can, if you're near a computer or your mobile. Chances are that I may see a few comments that I will read to the Minister of Youth and Sports and Mr. Sise. But before that, though, we're going to talk politics, because I have in the studio the leader of the People's Progressive Party, that is the PPP, the ruling party in the First Republic, actually the party that took us to independence, under the founding leader Alhaji Sedauda Kebba Jallow of blessed memory. The PPP has come a long way now, and as you of course may be aware, in 2018 it had a Congress which elected Papa Njai, Mamadou Papa Njai, if you like, as leader. He's been appointed as our High Commissioner in Nigeria, and in his absence, Kebba Jallow, himself a veteran PPP, of course, a member who was chairman of the Cardiff Municipal Council at the time of the 1994 coup, is now at the helm of the party. The party, of course, stayed with the governing National People's Party in the presidential elections, but at some point, of course, especially in the local government elections, the party felt that it should have to chart its own way following disagreements as to whether the party can contest or where it cannot contest. Mr. Jallow has been away, I guess. He's been in the United States, where he was in exile and had family and connections now that he most frequently go to, I guess, within the course of the year, each year. That is, welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, in your absence, like you said, the politicians, so much water has passed under the bridge. There have been legislations, there have been court cases, there have been proclamations, there have been political moves in your absence. So, of course, we would like to take this 1 hour to have your perspective on those aspects. And first of all, let's go to the Parliament. This Parliament was very interesting in the last couple of months, especially during the extraordinary session. We had the Victims Reparation Bill, which is now passed, and it is going to establish what they call Victims Compensation Commission. That will be responsible now for paying reparations to victims, as well as identifying victims who might not be covered by the TRRC. Okay, and also, of course, the TRRC recommendations, the white paper, implementation of the white paper also came up, and the government were very forthright, and they were committed to implementing the TRRC recommendations. There was also the controversial ex-president's bill. You must have heard about it. Too much controversy, but it eventually got passed. That is going to provide a lot of goodies for people who have served as president. Many people criticized the government. For some people said it is, a bill tailor-made to suit President Adama Barrow. But then the Minister of Justice had said, no, it is for any president that might come. So it could be for anybody, not just Adama Barrow. Many people wondered, though, whether former President Yahya Jammeh could benefit from it. And the minister said, well, first of all, the former president had to face the law first. And after that, then one can then consider whether or not he is going to benefit from that. So all those are heated debates. Plus, the Commission of Inquiry's Amendment Bill, which now suggests that the President of the Republic now has powers to grant pardon to people who might have been banned by commissions of inquiries. Many people said, well, now the president needed those powers to compensate people he cannot appoint. Others said he wants to use it to get to people who are also on the other side and might have been affected by a commission of inquiry. So critics said, again, it is the president that is been empowered with that law too. So all those things happen. And most importantly, a court has declared that the Akoto Bamfo Commission of Inquiry in 1996 or 95, which seized properties from PPP itself as a party, as well as its officials. That commission, a court has now said that commission was illegal because its very formation was illegal, given the fact that the person who had the commission did not meet the criteria to be chairman of such a commission, which make the commission's findings null and void. Well, it was Honorable MC Cham, former Minister of Finance and senior member of the PPP, who took the matter to court, and he won. And by implications, of course, all governments, former government ministers who suffered same fate, as well as the party, are now up in arms and said, well, there we go. There is now justification for all our assets to be returned. We will talk about that because you may have a personal connection to that. Yes. All this I want us to discuss before we move on to sports. But don't forget, like I tell you, AFCON 2023 Gambia is the next part of it. Mr. Jallow, welcome to the brunch.
Thank you so much, Lamin. And once again, I express my gratefulness for being here to express my views and the views of the party to the general public.
Okay.
But again, I take this opportunity to thank you personally.
Thank you.
For according us the opportunity to be around, particularly myself, to express our view on the issues affecting the country. It was true that I left the country for a month to go to US. But as politicians, every minute I was on my phone checking for news, especially Kerfatu, to see what's happening. And I've been following the events that are occurring in the country. And sometimes my daughter would say, Daddy, you are always on the phone. I said, you know what, I'm checking what is back home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So, but as you said, there were so many things that went on the last couple of months in the country. And this is how democracy works. You don't have to own one thing. One party, one government doesn't have to own it. It's especially now that we have this, the legislature is independent, the judiciary and the executive. They're all doing their work accordingly. When I follow the live debates on Parliament, I feel very, very happy that some of the turn issues have been addressed with serious concern. Unfortunately, or fortunately, there was no fist fighting like
in other parliaments.
Other parliaments. And then I give credit to the Speaker and all of them for being so patient to deliver on the items that were before them. Especially issues that really affected the country and the population.
Absolutely.
I give credit to all of them for coming out with, despite the fact that you don't get what you want, but then it already gone. And then, and again, I have to thank my PPP committee in the United States, the Usman Marike Fall, the chairperson, and Kebba Jallow, and the rest of the team. We had a successful meeting in America.
Okay.
Yeah, and it went very well. It was extremely very well. They were very happy that the way we conducted ourselves under difficult conditions, the party is moving slowly but surely to being a real functioning party. And I have to thank them for giving me their time and whatever they had for the party. I thank them, and I want to express this thing to Kebba and the team and Usman for the love they have for the party and the country. And that was it. And I felt that they want me to stay longer. I said, you know what, it's getting cold in America. Let me go back to the warm weather.
Good.
Yeah.
So, about the party, before we go into these deliberations, now that you went your own way in the local government elections, have that left a shower test in your relationship with the NPP? Is it still cordial?
No, we are doing well with NPP, especially with the president. We have no issues affecting our relationship as person to person, as party to party. We opted, in fact, they opted to leave us out, and it was good for us. Now we are on our own feet. If we move on our own. Politics, you don't say no.
Yeah.
There's always, you leave an opening. Who knows what is going to happen tomorrow or the day after?
Well, you said they left you to go on your own, but they said you were a little bit impatient. In principle, you could not agree on.
No, we could not agree on certain issues. The point is that if you leave a party not to contest elections, you are killing the party.
Okay.
And even whereas there is any other coalition, it's not going to be like it was before.
Yes.
PPP will contest elections.
Yes.
And no matter what, we will contest elections. So if the president or other parties want to engage us, we are open.
Okay.
But we have to leave room open for us to exist as a party. If you don't contest election, naturally there's something missing.
Exactly.
So this is what we are trying to fill the gap. The parliamentary, the local councils, and even presidential, we have to fill a gap.
Yeah.
The gap is if you don't, you don't necessarily exist as a party.
Okay.
So this is the issue that we will discuss if we sit again. If not, we are moving on our own. So we don't mind that at all.
So in principle, you don't have personal or major problems with the NPP.
No. Look,
but you've always said they need to understand.
They need to understand
that you need to exist as a party.
As a party, exactly. That is the problem. They need to understand that we have to exist as a party.
Yeah.
If not, they will kill us, and people would not die like that under my watch.
Absolutely.
Maybe if I leave the party, next I'm voted out. But then under my watch, we will have to exist as a party, contest as a party, whether solo or as a coalition.
Okay. There were rumors on the grapevines that after all, the PPP may have a reflection, and a desire to take a path that will promote, let's say, reunification, so to speak, of all the people who were at the time the Bakary side, who went on to form a party called Gambia for All Party. There were rumors in the grapevines that you probably might be walking towards that kind of direction. Is there any truth to this rumor?
That is true. Actually, at the Congress, the last Congress, it was discussed that the Congress gave us the mandate to go after anyone who was PPP or who want to join PPP, whether as a party or as an individual, for us to come back together as one party. That gave us the mandate to go after parties like GFA to come and join. It's their party. There's nothing like you can say, I'm angry, I'm going. No. Let them come back. I started talking to them. We have started talking to them. We have formed committees. They are discussing. I spoke to Bakary as one-to-one.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's going on. It will take the format. It will take. It's not out yet.
Yeah.
But I believe in my heart of hearts that we will be one party, inshallah. Yeah.
Okay. Is it going to be the PPP? I'm sure all of you will be keen to maintain whatever union, eventually emerge from your talks. Both of you will be keen to maintain the PPP.
Exactly.
That's what that really serves as the umbrella.
That is the idea, and that's what is we are talking about. There's no like PPP, GFA coalition. No.
Okay.
It's going to be one party. We will all have to come together and be one PPP. And not even that. There are many people who left the PPP, other parties who left, and we will draw them back to the PPP, and we may even parties like NCP. NCP is a branch of PPP.
NCP was, but then of course NPP was your strongest opposition.
Exactly.
I don't know whether you can still do things together.
Yeah, don't forget, it was Sirif Diba and Jawara who formed the PPP.
Yeah, definitely.
So, these are the strong pillars. I remember Sirif Diba was almost like the president.
Yes.
Jawara
on the Jawara.
On the Jawara.
Yeah.
So if there was division at that time, now things have changed. Now, there's no reason why we cannot come together as one party. And we take over the country, form the government.
Okay.
So we will pursue that, and then other parties who are interested.
You are PPP people even in the UDP.
Yeah, exactly.
Plenty of them,
Yeah.
perhaps.
In fact, UDP was formed by NCP and PPP and
Yes.
GP
The
Hassan Musa's
GPDP
party.
of Hassan Musa.
Exactly at
Yeah.
the time. So the way we are going,
GPP was called, yeah.
GPP,
GPP, yeah.
GPP, exactly.
Yeah.
GPP, NCP, PPP.
Yeah.
These were the parties that formed the UDP.
UDP.
Actually, I remember I was in America. I was the head of the committee there in America. We formed the UDP. I spent my money and the committees in America. I remember Yamasanya, Seo Konate, Usman Jai, many of us, Esali, my wife, and others.
Esali,
Exactly. We contributed a lot to UDP. Money financially. We gave money to the late Omar Khan.
Omar Khan,
Omar Khan played a very key role for the UDP.
Yeah.
And the monies were sent to the party. And we only asked us to forget about our party, and join and form this new party, so that we can get rid of
Good. So you will still with a united PPP, you might be able to get some people back from.
Yeah. That's what we believe. This next coming election is going to be very interesting.
Why do you say so?
Yeah, because the playing field is getting level. Unfortunately, finances is a problem for all the parties. But you cannot say I'm an incumbent, so I'm going to win. It's not guaranteed Barrow may win elections. It's not guaranteed. If he contests.
Well, his people in the NPP have already begun to say.
Yeah. But I would say.
Though many people believe he will not contest.
Yeah, I would say the same if I was in this. I would say I'm going to win. Actually, to be honest with you, PPP played a very key role. That's why I still believe nobody can change that. The PPP believe that President Barrow is our president. The role the PPP played, we will never diminish our role, our positions. We played a key role to making sure that President Barrow was elected, and we still maintain that. And that's why we support him, his programs and policies. But doesn't mean that we will not oppose his failures. No, we will support his successes. And then oppose his failures. That's how it is. We governed before. PPP governed for 30 good years.
Absolutely.
We are not like other parties who will only pinpoint failure.
Well, sometimes, he's a guy who will criticize softly. He's not too critical with the PPP, but sometimes he will Dordala and said, oh, well, some people were here for 30 years, others 20. They have not been able to achieve this. So,
sometimes
he will say that.
Sometimes when I listen to President Barrow speak about this road concern, nobody has done that.
Yes, he said, Ahmad Ba said they expected Barrow to do something that has not been achieved in 50 years. So sometimes they don't know PPP.
When I hear that, I just laugh. I said, what, these are tunes. They are tunes. They don't know. If you build a road between Jabakunda and somewhere, don't forget the road from Banjul to Basse. Jawara built it.
Yeah, from scratch.
With all those bridges and hills. He conquered it.
Yeah.
We should start from that.
Yeah.
Before we built a 3 kilometer road, 5 kilometer road, start from
now
that.
they are talking about hundreds.
Don't mind that. You start somewhere and then you move on. They are tuners. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Now let's go to Parliament. During your absence, there, like the bills I have outlined, let's start with the controversial former president's bill, because people said, it may also have linkages with the political career of President Adam Barrow, and in which case, of course, politicians and political groups and citizens alike took a lot of interest in it when it was introduced, and the contents which suggested now that presidents who should be paid, the same salary as former as sitting president. Of course, this was reduced to 80%, and then the motor cars that should come and be changed every 5 years. The house workers, the holiday package every year for the presidents, and all sort of goodies. People were up in arms, said that is too much for somebody who actually we paid for maybe 5 years minimum, who didn't even need his money, and then we come back paying him, and even the possibility of his spouse, his or her spouse, later. Too much of controversy, but well, fortunately or unfortunately, it got passed. It's now law.
Yeah,
what do you make of it?
I think Lamin, what happened is that the legislators or the drafters of the bill don't mind too much about the economy.
Okay.
The country is facing serious economic crisis, honestly. The production base of the country is very minimal. Now, where do we get all this money to pay? If you look at the remuneration of the parliament, you want to add the president and then the ex-president.
Ex-president.
Right now, if Barrow retires next year, for example, he's still very young.
Yes, he's still young.
He can live for the next 30 to 40 years.
Relatively young.
Exactly.
With health and strength, he
we'll
can go.
continue paying him. Maybe plus another 4 or 5 presidents. Where is that money coming from? So they don't. I mean, sometimes we need to consider our base. Where are we getting the money from? It's not the groundnut we're talking about. It's not the fisheries. Where are we getting the money from? The production base of the country, we need to be able to provide a base where we will get the money. Look at the foreign exchange now.
Yeah.
The SO4 is untouchable.
I have
the
just
dollar
changed,
is like gone.
Just changed the pound for $8.
Exactly. No.
$8 a pound.
Exactly. Now that means the dollar has been suppressed.
$80. I said, did I say $8? $80 a
Exactly.
pound.
That means the dollar has been suppressed, and that is the recipe for disaster for the people. Because if you want to go to the shop, you buy 1 pot meal, you're talking about $30, $40.
Yeah, absolutely.
How can the ordinary person get that? Yeah. They need to concentrate on saving the money and taking care of the economy. So through especially when you spend, is it necessary to spend on the president 80% of the
salary of a city president to an ex-president?
Is it necessary for what?
Give him cash.
The president president now, everything almost free to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
For 10 good years, everything, almost.
Yeah.
So,
that's money he doesn't need. Like you and I have to buy rice.
Exactly.
Have to buy, do whatever thing when we get sick.
And
for
then,
him, we pay all that.
Yeah, and we pay from our pockets. But then you continue paying that for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
You pay for another 10 years, another president comes in
again. Could be more. It could be 20 years or more.
Exactly.
Like you said, with health and strength, inshallah, with God's grace, he can live for another 40, 50 years.
No, exactly. President Barrow is too young. Still very young, very active, very strong. He can live for the next 40 years. He's 50 now.
Maybe 50 or 60.
50 years, exactly.
I hope another 100.
So if we change the bill for 2 terms, can you imagine every 10 years we have a new president?
Yeah.
A younger president.
Yes, that's true.
That should be put into consideration. Every 10 years, a younger president will come in.
So many people think there were 2 schools of thoughts. Many people, others said, look, I hope he's not trying to make a soft cushion for Yahya Jammeh. Others said, no, this is not Yahya Jammeh. Yahya Jammeh could be just a collateral benefit or damage, whatever you like it. But this is tailor-made for President Barrow. Given the fact that it came with a certificate of audience. And the civic society, the civic society said they were not consulted on this particular bill, like others. Unlike others.
Exactly.
But this one, they were not consulted at all about this bill. So why the urgency and why the secrecy and not sharing with the civic society? Many people want to believe that President Barrow has a vested interest in this bill, and which of course translates to the fact that is he not preparing to pack up in 2026?
Well, skeptics like me and others will think so. Maybe this is a tailor-made for him. But to be honest with you, we don't know what is coming tomorrow. But the President Barrow I know today, he is the best for the country at this moment in time. The reason I say that is that we are enjoying relative peace compared to the sub-region, even Senegal. There's the peace that we enjoy in this country and the neighboring countries. I was in America when I heard about something in Guinea-Bissau.
Yeah, they said an attempted coup.
Sierra Leone and so on.
An attempted coup, they now say.
So we are enjoying what is not value, what you cannot value. Peace, you cannot say is 100,000 or 5,000.
Or 1 million.
We are enjoying that. So for President, that alone for me, I am happy to support him because the relative peace we are enjoying. The Gambian and the President. I give him credit. He's the head. If things go bad, we'll say the President. If it is good, let's still give him the credit.
Okay.
I give him. But then, I don't know what he's thinking. If he wants to leave,
people would have taken people like you, experienced politicians. People would have said, okay, let's rely on you people's instincts to calculate his movements. In your impression, did you see President Barrow somebody who is preparing to go?
Yes.
You have a feeling like that?
Yes.
Well, his people,
whether it's going to happen or not, but I
but
see.
you think that you think that he's preparing to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, his people said no, that's not the case.
Yeah, that's what
he's
what
going to be
happened.
our candidate.
That's what happened. Look at the President Jawara.
Yes.
The same thing happened. To be honest with you, he wanted to leave, but then the people around him were crying and falling down and saying, "No, don't go." That's the same thing that's going to happen to President Barrow. If he wants to go, the Barrow I know is not greedy. He would not mind going tomorrow if the time comes. But look at the people around, those who are interested, who get interest from him.
Who are interested in him clinging on to power.
Exactly.
And they get their bread.
Will not let him go.
So at the end of it, it has to be his own personal strong will
to say, yes, I'm going, or no, I'm not going.
Yeah.
He already has a cushion. If President Barrow leaves today, for example, in the next term, he's going to enjoy two. The office of the presidency, he'll enjoy it for the rest of his life. He is going to be the best Gambian leader, even in the country.
Yeah, he would have set an example.
Like Macky Sall. Macky Sall may be different, but then President Barrow...
I think if he lives in 2026, his case will be more glorified than Macky Sall.
And that is more
because
something...
Macky Sall, one reason or the other, was compelled to leave.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, even though he argued that he had a right to go, but even he himself contradicted himself many times.
Exactly.
Eventually, he realized that he could not go.
Yeah.
But then it was not without pressure also.
No, he had pressure.
So if Barrow leaves, it would be at his own will.
Exactly.
He could have argued with people, no, I will go for another term, no, I will go for, I still have another term. But if he leaves in 2026, I mean, yes, his case will be more glorifying than Macky Sall.
Yeah. Barrow is still liked by the people. And if he contests election with other people, I wouldn't want to name names.
With Lawyer Dabo. Maybe that's what has been said. He's the biggest. So you want to say if he contests with Lawyer Dabo?
He's gonna beat Lawyer.
Okay.
But then,
what about if Lawyer Dabo change? Because there are rumors that people are queuing up to replace him.
That's another problem. That's another problem.
Oh, that's another problem. Okay.
No, that's a problem coming up. But hopefully, Allah will guide the country through the rough times and good times. And I believe also pray that Allah gives President Barrow the good heart and the mind to think the best for himself, his family, and the country.
So in other words, every President Barrow has ticked every box except the management of the economy and the cost of living prices. That's your concern.
My concern, to be very honest with you, I have to say it publicly. I'm very concerned with the economy of the country. I give him credit for building roads. America developed because of the Eisenhower roads, road infrastructure. And I give credit to President Barrow to that. He can continue doing that for combos, for the urban area. But then the leftover, when we are hungry, feed yourself first. And then the leftover can be roads, construction, or whatever.
I see.
Right now, I think President Barrow should concentrate more. Let him empower the Minister of Agriculture. For that we can have food self-sufficiency.
Yeah.
When we are fed, when we are really fed, we can export food. Then the leftover can be on roads and other things. But right now, to be honest with you, even the produce we produce in this country is more expensive than the ones we import.
Yes.
That means not sufficient. Look at the when you go to the market now,
you look for Findi.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Those ones are more expensive than the rice we import. I think there's a lot. I remember one time Jawara, there was a meeting somewhere. Sadora said Gambians should start to change their food.
Diversify.
Exactly.
Food, yes.
Rice. He said no. He said there's cassava, there's rice, Findi, rice, all this.
That's true.
Yeah, he said that.
Yeah.
Gambians should start to do that.
Yeah.
But then look at the Jahal Pachar thing. Jawara started that. Now it's left almost abandoned.
Well, they said the rot started on the Jawara. That's what your critics
No.
said.
They would say that. Jawara, at that time, we all believed, we all know that the Gambia enjoyed. We never had any how we call it,
total dependence on
on
imported
import.
rice?
No. The whole provinces produce their own food. Sometimes they supply the urban area.
Maybe there weren't many people at the time too.
No, but the thing is, what happened is that they neglected it. They neglected it. But then I don't blame Barrow alone.
Yeah.
I started from Yaya.
Yeah.
I like his slogan, grow what you eat
Yes.
and eat what you grow.
No,
I like Yaya's slogan.
And the Vision 20. Yame had all the plans.
I like Yaya's vision,
all the good things from the textbook.
Yeah, but then look at
But
the
then how
implementation.
yeah.
But yes, when he turned it upside down, grow what you eat what people grow for him. people go to the farm for him, not for themselves.
Right.
So that's where the people problem started. From 19.
So he made everybody work for him.
For him.
Instead of for the country.
For the country. Poverty started from that level.
And he locked up all the agricultural experts.
Exactly.
He said they are either corrupt or whatever.
Yeah. So President Barrow inherited these problems all throughout. I don't blame him for all this, honestly. It had a long time.
No, but he had a lot of goodwill from
Yeah,
2017
he planned it.
to change things around.
Yeah. He planned it. He should have taken
He had a
advantage
lot
of that.
of goodwill.
Oh yes. I remember there was a lot of money pumped
A
into
lot of
agriculture.
goodwill. A lot of Gambia was a darling to the international community.
Yeah.
But many people said not much has been realized.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they should have concentrated on certain areas. Education. Also, there is one area that I really support the government. One time, I don't know this minister, but I had him talk, this Minister of Higher Education.
Gomez.
Oh, I truly appreciate his efforts.
Yeah, Professor Gomez.
Yeah, he's preparing the next generation of Gambians.
Yes.
To be prepared for takeover. Take over. This step, they call it.
They have step, they have TVEDs, they
when I listen to them, I feel so good that something is coming very soon. If that phase out in the next 5 years or 10 years, we will have sufficient graduates not lawyers and so on.
Not just for offices, but
no.
we should have technicians.
Exactly. I like
in various fields. That's the TVET. Yes, the University of Science and Technology.
Exactly, yeah.
Now the GTTI is going to.
I when I listen to him, I'm maybe someday I'll meet. I don't know him.
It's very easy to meet. Very down to earth.
I like when he spoke on the air, and then I said, look, this is the guy we needed in this place.
Exactly.
Apart from Badara, he's the guy. He's the right guy. Yeah.
He has always been an academic.
Yeah,
he knows the.
I love his. He introduced this thing, and some people. If we prepare these kids from that time, from now to the next 5 years, certainly we will have a lot of technicians and graduates who are engineers, technicians, and so on. So we may not import, and what they need to do also, Lamin. Some of these jobs that they create, they give to experts. Why not create these, give Gambians here?
Gambians.
Yeah.
I see.
Gambians can do it. Manual jobs are difficult. Maybe they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But these experts, technical jobs, they can be given to certain Gambians to do that for us here.
Yeah. Probably retired civil servants.
Exactly.
Still healthy.
That's why I said if PPP comes into power, we have prepared.
You have the expertise.
We have prepared so many good people. I don't know whether you had the name of Baksture.
Yes, I know
Baksture.
You had
this Mendes.
A think tank.
Oh my goodness! Wait until when people come to power.
But you have
very proud to have those.
You have technocrats.
Oh yes.
Who will help and bring.
Oh yes.
Now we still stay in Parliament. You have you heard about the budgets.
Yes.
The national budget was presented. And before it, you also had snippets of what was in the budget that's been discussed by by Parliament.
Yes.
You must have come across the fact that the minister said there is going to be a robust tax collection. He refused to say an expansion of tax, but he said there has to be robust tax collection methods have to be reinforced and intensified. So what do you make of that?
No, it's very bad. The country is a poor country. The income of the people. Where are the people who is going to tax? The people that I know in the street and in the offices. The people that are paid in salaries. And people who are in businesses. When you increase the businesses, that's going to increase the taxes on people.
Okay.
So it is not right now. It's not. This is not the right time to increase about 50% tax on Gambians. That's what I'm going to say. Because we already started with burden with taxes, and we cannot even afford food. Look at electricity. What they did last time, they said, okay, we are going to increase 35%. But from that time, no more problems. When they increased, that was time we had worse problem with electricity. So I don't think it was wise to increase the tax to 50%.
He said it's not increase, but to expand it to cover areas that he believes, the government believes, are not been covered. For example, now I hear the entertainment industry,
that's their fault.
Who are in fact very busy now. They will soon have a knock on their door from the taxman. Now. Even entertainers, their promoters will have to pay tax or they will not perform. Tobacco levy has increased.
But that's
alcohol,
fine.
that's
fine. That's fine. I support that.
But then now they're saying that even the juice pressers in the streets and perhaps the small mobile merchandise sellers will all have to pay tax.
Well, what I do understand, those who were
not taxed. In fact, they asked the GRA to collect $19 billion now, not 12.
From who? That's the problem.
From the Gambian and
so that's going to filter down to the ordinary people.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
In the end, there's going to be an uprising. Uprising in the sense that people will start to say no. And then you cannot have a fire and kerosene at one place.
Yes, they cannot stay in one place.
Now, if we increase the taxes and it affects the people, people will start to say no. They need to watch this very carefully. When I read it, 19 billion, I said, where are we going to get this thing? Yeah. If I understand that the contractors who come in and give them these lucrative contracts, they don't pay tax, they can go after those people. I understand.
I see.
But then the small man in the street?
In the streets.
No.
To squeeze money from them. Whatever activity you do now, you have to be taxed.
No. Honestly, that's going to be a problem. Look at the rents in Serakunda now. In the urban area, the rents are not less than 5,000. And you want to add another burden on them. Food on them. School programs on them. It's a problem.
It's a problem.
I mean, they need to think about this. But what's going to happen eventually? People will start to say no. But luckily, President Adam Barrow may not contest election, so he's not going to feel it.
So maybe he had said that my second term. I will govern as if I'm not interested in politics anymore.
Now, you can see it now coming.
Yeah, he said that.
Yep.
He has now, they're not taking on measures that you would have think that he would have been afraid of pre-2021. Like, for example, even this clearing of road obstructions on the highway, which is a commendable idea, but it has raised a lot of controversy.
Yeah, but then this is where I have always said so. You have two difficult things coming up. The municipalities are governed by the opposition.
Yes.
And then you have the central government.
Yeah, in fact, that's another of our topics because I want your expertise on that.
Yeah, because if they were working together hand in hand, this should not have happened. Look at the small people in the streets. They take them out. These are the people who fed. My mother was selling the market, market for all these years. She paid my school fees, fed us from Serakunda market. But at that time, they were selling Serakunda market. Now, if these people who are selling the streets, the councils failed, not the president. They should have taken care of these people selling in the streets, put them somewhere, find them faults, but then they left them like that. So the president had to do his job.
The Carib Municipal Council had said they had created spaces for them.
Why couldn't they take them there?
Now I hear they have created 629 to take them there.
Then it's too late.
But then, like you said, the argument was, okay, why didn't you move us and you collect taxes from us? But the council said, well, we did not take you out. And we have to get tax from you if you use our space to sell.
No, the council...
So council is saying, now we did not knock you out. The central government who did that.
No, the councils failed in their duties. I was there from 1977.
But then there were issues also as people who have spaces but did not want to go to those places.
That's another problem. But then again, it should be the responsibility of the council to put them back to that place.
Force them to go. Yeah. Like, for example, in West Coast region, there's a whole modern market in Sukuta.
Yeah.
But nobody goes there.
Exactly. So whose fault? It's not the government, it's the councils. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
the councils fail their own people. They fail their own people. They should have utilized that to make sure that the people are, even if it's limited spaces, they occupy those spaces. During our time, it was not as many people as now. But then we made sure that the people are in the markets. In the Serakunda street, you hardly find people selling in the streets. But they were there, but not many. But now in Serakunda, Brikama, all these urban settlements, councils should have taken care of those people. President Barrow did a good job clearing the streets, and that I commend the government for doing that. Trust me.
So now there will be now an opportunity for vendors to go into some organized setup.
Yeah.
They will be forced now to go to markets.
Exactly.
If they refuse to go, they will now be forced to go there.
Exactly.
I see that in Brikama, the council chairman and his people are trying to create, an alternative vending place for the vendors who've been affected by the road repair.
That's good if they can find somewhere better where the people will go. It's good for better than letting them in the streets, if they can do that.
But in your experience, like you said, everybody had thought that there would be an uneasy calm in terms of relations between the councils that are run by opposition, and all the urban ones are run by opposition, and the central government. There is this case about Brikama Area Council taking a resolution to suspend the CEO and his finance director, whom they have alleged, have embezzled a lot of money. The Local Service Commission now said, no, your resolutions now are not binding. You cannot sack these people.
Yeah.
So there is an impasse now.
Yeah.
Up to a point where the councillors or councils had to, so to speak, to, stop the council, attempt to stop the CEO from using their vehicle.
Yeah.
All sort of things are happening. In your experience, and this happened in Carniving also, in your experience, is it that we have what we can call difficulty in political accommodation of
exactly. That's the
each
right
border?
word. That is the political accommodation.
That's what is lacking.
That is the fact. Everybody wants to make sure that this is mine. The local government think they are government. They are not governments. No. The councils are not governments of the Gambia. They are municipalities of their own entity. The central government embodies all of them. So what happened there is a bad blood between the central government and the local councils. It's all politics. It's because
So who do you blame for this?
no, let them go by the book.
Well, they try to do that, but each one has a different interpretation of the books.
No, but then, okay.
That's where the problem is.
No, okay. If the local government administration, if the council says this is what we know, first of all, I would not support the central government to appoint a CEO or they call it
CEOs,
a CEO.
finance directors, all appointed by.
I would not support that for the central government to appoint.
When you were chairman,
we appointed our own.
You appointed your own?
Yeah.
Your finance director and CEO?
I appointed, I remember Seluba.
Yes, Seluba in Basse was local government.
Bakary China, we appointed, I was there, I was the chairman.
So this idea that...
I think it came after during Yaya's time.
Amendments in the acts.
Yes, exactly. What happened is they had to change this thing many times. But then I don't support the idea of central government imposing their people on the councils.
Yeah, that's one problem.
If they did not do that, this would not have happened. There should be a way of government overseeing the councils, not imposing people on them.
And that's why the problem. Now, what people say, okay, we talk about President Barrow's tolerance, President Barrow's, nature of, tolerance. That's completely different from Jammeh's style, of course. Now, but people still find it difficult that he cannot conform to the realities. That, okay, look, as a statesman, because if you see, one philosopher told me that when you go for elections, the person who loses, people will say, sympathize with him instead. But he said that one is actually the winner. Because the one who wins the election now carries a burden that includes accommodating even the ones who are against it. So that's where
the challenge we have in this country.
Yes.
President Barrow was elected by Gambians. He is the elected chief executive of the country. We should all respect him, whether you are an opposition or you are an independent or whatever. We should give him his due respect as the president of the republic, whatever happens. Now, the challenge we have here is some other people. I remember Dabo was saying that they will give, there was a saying, he says that it will give him hard time
Well, they said, someone can criticize that will make the country ungovernable.
Ungovernable.
But then, of course, he said if certain rights were denied.
No, but he had to qualify it by that.
Yes,
but don't worry.
Well, that's what they always said. They said he didn't say that in a vacuum.
No,
if certain rights were deprived.
Don't worry, we are talking to a politician.
But even that alone, you said is trouble.
Exactly. That alone is trouble.
It's troublesome. Yeah.
What we should do, let us give credit to the president we elect. Whether you are an opposition or independent or whatever, when we elect a president or a leader, it's the leader at the time.
So if we give that due respect to the president, don't we expect the president also to respect the choice of the people at the local level?
But then the thing is, President Barrow also has to be very mindful of his utterances. When you go to a platform, when you speak to the Gambian people, you speak to all the people, whether it's an opposition or independent. There are certain words that you should not say. If you do that, you are creating misunderstanding between the two. When sometimes they provoke him, and then he would not.
Then he will come out. He will lose his cool.
Exactly, he'll fight back.
Yeah.
But that's how it is. But then I would not do that. I would, and Jawara would not.
Jawara would not.
No, Jawara would not. PPP. This is why we are different. I
say PPP.
I big Gambians will vote for PPP president. All these problems will not happen. Jawara, I remember Sidwidiba would say Jawara Ngunja, something like that.
Yeah, he told them. No, he said Chalo.
Chalo. And then Jawara would say Ngunja.
Tell him Ngunja. And wherever he said, he would say, Ela Kenyol.
He would not.
He would not even say.
No. People will not be angry. So we'll just go with that. But then we have a problem now. Some people don't respect the president as the president of the republic.
I see.
President Barrow also is, when you push him too hard, he speaks
loses
so hard.
his cool.
Exactly. So this should be a balance. That's why when they said they want politicians, parties to sit down and talk, I don't understand that. I would not. PPP will not go there.
Every people think that is a
no, that's not the solution. The solution is between Dabo and Barrow.
That's the only problem.
Yeah, okay. The two. Let the two sit down and shake hands.
Finally, okay, we were talking about the local government. Like I told you, okay, why don't we the president also said, okay, we won 8. Rather, we contested 8. We won 4. The opposition won 4. Let's run our councils and leave them to run theirs.
Yeah, but then, even if they do that, they have to be on a government. That's the fact.
Yes.
How do they do that?
The local government will still.
But the thing is,
exercise. But like you said, they must not impose.
They should not impose their employees on the councils.
So what do you think should be the solution now?
The solution,
especially in Kanifing and Brikama, which is now, in fact, going to courts, a lot of confusion. What do you think should be the solution?
The solution, let the tempers go down, and then let them talk on it now. Make sure that this thing faces out. But the precedent has been set already, because there was a problem in KMC until the CEO had to be moved.
Yes.
Now the same scenario is coming
in
Brikama. So it started somewhere. That's why they have stopped this thing. The government, the Ministry of Local Government, should not interfere too much on the affairs of the council.
So what do you make of on the same topic, finally, the appointment of executive coordinators? As you must have heard the president said, well, he said in one of his speeches, I think out of frustration, with the opposition councils, he said he's going to appoint governors. He said it before, but they came in another fashion now with a tag called executive coordinators.
Yeah,
lawyers and opposition and critics said, no, that's an interference. You cannot appoint such people into councils. What do you make of it?
No. I support the idea of appointing governors.
Oh yeah, even for when you were in KM, there was no governor. There was no chairman.
There was chairman.
Now mayor.
Yeah, exactly. Now mayor. I was chairman, and I was now mayor.
You think
But then I support the idea of the government having a governor in KM and Banjul.
Why?
Okay, they will be there to coordinate the affairs of the government, central government, in the local areas, in these municipalities. Basse, they have governor. West Coast, they have governor.
Yes.
What is wrong with KM and Banjul?
No, but the colony and the protectorate
always
had different.
We have to pass that. We have to be evolving as a country.
But
the governor represents the president and the government in this area. The councils, don't forget, the councils are local councils. They cannot represent the government here. The councils cannot represent the government here. That's the point.
Okay.
The councils represent the councils in their area. If, for example, I was let me give you a good example. I was a chairman of KMC. When President Jawara was coming here, I would be the first to be in the front. But at that time, we were in good time.
No, you belong to the same party.
In the same party.
Yes. That's where the problem now.
Now
There's a different party now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now that's the thing, because they are not in the same party. Everybody's trying to whatever.
Do you think if there was an NPP chairman, rather mayor in Banjul and KM, Barrow would still find a need to appoint an executive coordinator?
No.
He wouldn't have that.
No.
So it's political.
It's political. It's simple. It's simple. It's all political.
Okay, so
Because I remember when President Barrow was coming into KM and Banjul, there was nobody to receive him.
yeah, because the mayor, they don't belong to the same political.
Exactly. So the mayor and Banjul and KM were not around to receive him.
So you mean they should have put politics aside. This is the president.
Exactly.
Let's go and receive him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I remember one time.
But that is because also maybe because the meetings are used to attack.
No,
so that makes it difficult. That makes both of them.
That is why there is need for a governor for KM and a governor for Banjul.
Good point.
For the interest of the central government.
I see.
Not for the councils.
Good.
I support the idea of appointment. I don't know why they put this executive coordinator. I don't know what
they must be trying to run away from some legal things when they avoid governor. They said executive coordinator.
I don't understand that. I don't like that title. I don't know.
Maybe they are trying to avoid governor.
I don't understand that.
Mr. Jallow, we have to come back because, like I said, today we also have a big topic, that is the participation of Gambia into the Africa Cup of Nations. And the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports, Bakary Badjie, is standing by.
Okay.
And we have all sort of questions for him as to how our team will. You are a football fan, of course.
Okay.
So you will really be interested in how we participate in our second Cup of Nations in the Ivory Coast later in actually under a month's time. So thank you very much, Kebba Jallow, the interim leader of the People's Progressive Party, PPP, for coming on the brunch. We will get you back, I can promise you, very, very soon to exhaust this text.
Thank you so much. And then before I leave, I want to pray for the Scorpions and through the able minister and the government to make sure that we come with the trophy here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
The brunch will be back with a topic on the Gambia's participation in the Africa Cup of Nations.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you. Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Well, as I have said on the headlines, the program is now going to take a look at sports, football in particular, because the Gambia national team will participate in the Africa Cup of Nations for the second time in the Ivory Coast, this time in just under 1 month's time. A national coordination committee has been set up to supervise the Gambia's participation in these tournaments, and among their roles include fundraising and working on other logistics to ensure that the Gambia's participation is successful, both in terms of logistics and hopefully, of course, on technical matters. Now, the Minister of Youth and Sports, Bakary, is the head of the National Coordination Committee, and he's joined in the studio by Musa Sise, President of the Gambia Sports Journalists Association, who is representing the media and I guess private sector, if you like, in the NCC. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. Now, let me start with Honorable. Honorable, let's go back, first things first. You set up a committee this time around. I understand this time you went for a smaller NCC, unlike the past, the first one in Cameroon, when you had a large representation of groups in the committee. This time, why do you go for a smaller one?
Well, good afternoon. A good day to the viewers. And Mr. Cham, thank you for inviting us. I think this is a great platform for us to be able to talk about the NCC and the Gambia's preparation for AFCON. Now, why we went for a smaller group, I think it was kind of an agreement between the major stakeholders, which is the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the Gambia Football Federation, to say learning from the lessons and the experiences of the past, I mean, which is the last first time we participated in AFCON, it would be better to have what we call the major stakeholders in the committee, and then others who have a role to play, we can involve them on the side. But having learned the last time, you have a bigger group, work is delayed sometimes because someone else is responsible for something and they did not deliver on time, or they will not be able to act on time. And then when you have a bigger groups also, there are a lot of opinions. I mean, it's democracy, agreements becomes a problem. So we thought we would rather have the major stakeholders, the Football Federation, the Ministry, the Sports Journalists Association, and a representative of others like the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because we're going outside, and maybe the private sector, having 1 or 2 representatives in the private sector, and those becomes the major NCC. But, so that we can be able to have results and be able to ensure that decisions are made quicker and things are more coordinated in a better way. That's the idea. But of course, every other stakeholder has a role to play, even though not within the NCC.
So now, what are your major mandate mission this time around?
Well, it's two parts mostly if you're going to box it. Which is one is the technical preparation of the team, which is being taken care of by the technical subcommittee, which is headed by the Gambia Football Federation, Mr. Ibu Faye, and then it's mostly at the GFF level. And the technical preparation is the training camps, the test matches that they're going to have. And then the second part is the fundraising aspect, trying to ensure that we raise the funds that are necessary to ensure a successful participation of the Scorpions of the team, but also the fans and the orders that are supposed to go to have the necessary funds to provide the lodging, the transport, the feeding for them.
How much are you looking for this time?
The total budget is 300 and I don't remember the exact figure, but it's 300 something million. That's 388
That's
million.
about 400 million.
Close to that, yes. But again, good to clarify or explain this. I know when people hear figures, they say, "Oh, that's a lot of money."
Well,
now,
400 million you're looking for.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the fact that you need about 400 million.
Yeah, but it's staggered. You know, it's not. Because participating in AFCON requires a lot of logistics.
Yeah, even it could be more because depending on...
no, that's the total.
No, what I mean is when you get there,
yes,
for example, it's estimated. So you calculated that, like it happened the last time. Last time when we were in Cameroon, I mean, it came out. It turned out that the budget, initially estimated, proved to be smaller because the team achieved what was not calculated.
Yes, that was that. And like I said, that one of the lessons, because that was the first time Gambia was going to AFCON. So we learned lessons from them.
Yes.
Now, in the initial AFCON, there was a huge belief among some people that this is the first time we are going to stop at the group level.
Yeah.
And so the budget, even though it went to the final, but government provided what was only for the group stage.
Exactly.
And then, we eventually went through the round of 16, we went to the quarterfinals, and it became an issue. It went beyond what was given, and government have to supplement the funding. So this time around, we said we would announce what is needed from match day 1 to the final.
In the event we reach there.
So the total budget is covering logistics for training camp, and this time where the Saudi is the identified place. Then we are looking at the flights that need to ferry the players, and the flight that need to ferry the fans and the media and others. Their accommodation in Ivory Coast and the feeding and the ticket cost and all of those. So from match day 1 all the way to the final. Now, if Gambia reaches the final, salam, we know this is what we anticipated.
Okay.
If we stop at group level, that's why I said the budget is staggered.
That's why the budget.
There's a budget for
all encompassing.
Group 1. There's a budget for round of 16, the quarterfinal, the semi-final, and the final.
And all are within these 3 years.
Yes. If you don't reach there, of course,
Well,
in fact,
of course.
government will not even provide.
we reach and exhaust the budget.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But government is not providing. We know it's very, very difficult for us to raise 400 million. We know that. So we're looking at what is possible. But for now, our concentration is how much do we raise, how we raise whatever we're able to raise from the total to cover the group stage and possibly going all the way to the quarterfinals. Hopefully, if we go beyond that, then we needed more money. But the budget is an entire budget from day 1 to final.
Okay, I go to Musa Sise, whose job in the committee is perhaps to publicize your activities as much as possible. You drew up a fundraising publicity campaign, which is a countdown, counting the days up to the tournament and probably departure date, etc. But they're still not known. How do people donate? I've seen flyers everywhere that donate generously, yokal chere, yokal nye, but it is not explained. How can people donate? What are you waiting for?
Mr. President, one of the demands that, you're still quiet and you don't say anything. He said, no, I want to know what to talk about. I want to know what.
So how do we do it?
When I want to speak, I want to know that I have the facts and that's the time right now, Cham. It's a timely one, and that you brought it up. Finally, it's a new innovative way of allowing the public to donate to the AFCON campaign. What we've decided to do as a fundraising committee is that there is a platform that is applicable to everyone in the world. And when I say the world, of course, we're talking about both locally and in the diaspora, that's internationally. And there is a platform called Ticketo. Ticketo is an app. Ticketo.
Ticket.
Yes, an app and natiqueto.com. Yeah.
Ticketo,
and
that's the app.
Yes, and the website
is
natiketo.com.
natiketo.com.
Yeah.
So when you go there,
when you go there, you will find it's a ticketing and a revenue collection platform. Anyone in the Gambia, whether you are a NAFA user, you are a table.
Do you have the app in your mobile?
Yes, I have.
We can be able to demonstrate.
Yes, we'll be able to go there. And
yes,
see. Don't worry. We will.
My technicians.
We will.
You can demonstrate.
NAFA, AfriMoney, Q Money. Wave.
Okay.
All.
I see.
In the Gambia, if you go there, it's simple steps to follow. These are the partners we have identified to do the entire collection. Even the sales of tickets for our concerts, it's going to be done on this platform because no one wants to handle cash. And it's something real, secure, and in real time, you can see what is being collected on behalf of the NCC for the national team. Also, anyone in the diaspora, because the diaspora is how do we contribute? If you're an American card holder, American Visa card holder, MasterCard holder, Google Pay, Apple Pay, Discover. All these avenues are available there on the same platform. You can donate anything that you want.
That is by going to
this
website
and this app. It's all is there for you. So Natiketo or Ticketo app. Natiketo.com
or Ticketo app.
Or Natiketo.com. These are two. Natiketo.com is a website.
That's where you can find this app.
All this. No. This app is on the Google app.
On the Google app. You can
download it now, and this is what we are saying. Anybody with us, download it
But
now.
you mentioned Wave. If for example,
if you go into Natiketo or Ticketo.com,
you'll find
Wave is there. If you are a user, if you are a user, you can pay through Wave. This is for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you are an AfriMoney user, you can pay through AfriMoney. If you are an Q Money user, you can pay through Q Money. If you are a table pay user, you can pay. If you are anybody. So we're not leaving anyone to chances. People have all the options. If you cannot even do any of those things, we are going to use the conventional way of collecting money. We're going to have stations putting up at least something like a safe where you can just come and drop anything that you have. But conventionally, what we're also asking the public is, if you live in the Gambia, you wake up in the Gambia, you walk in the Gambia, all that we ask of you is just give us $100. Just drop it there for us. Drop $100 in these safes for us.
Where will this hit?
The safes, we are going to identify marketplaces, Burusubi, Senegambia, Serekunda Market, Banjul Market, strategic where there is secure, like the police stations, well branded, well visible. Just come and drop it there. Whatever you have, you can drop it anytime you want, any day you want, any amount you want. Just give us $100. And that doesn't exempt the President of the Republic. Of course, he's the patron. We know that he's going to donate. The ministers, Honorable and his colleagues, as usual, they will. The MPs sitting in Parliament will all donate because we're asking all of them. Institutions, major institutions, we're going to approach each and every one of them to make sure that they give. It's their choice. Remember, it's an appeal. But what's more important is even those people who've been asking, GoFundMe, GoFundMe, GoFundMe. It is out there right now. It is set up. We're not leaving anyone, whatever you have. What is it you can bring to the table as a Gambian, a non-Gambian, a supporter of Gambian football and sports for that matter? The money, when you talked about it, earlier on, 400 million, we're talking about $6 million, for example. Yeah, conservatively, others will say, that's a lot of money. In football, excuse my language, it's not much money. Yeah, but in the Gambian context, probably, we're talking about people who spent 100 million just to qualify. Honorable, I wish we had that money. It will go a long way in solving most of our sporting problems.
Okay, so...
But that is just one of the ways for the public to understand that. Go to Ticketo, download the app, go to the, Galaxy app or any station and download the app. Follow simple procedures, follow steps, simple steps. You can just donate anything you want.
So when I have AfriMoney, Wave, young, I don't know, Yuna Kalpe, whatever they call it.
Nafa, all this, yes.
Nafa, all this. And I don't have, I don't have the means, or I don't know how to get to this app, something like that. Is there a number that I can save and automatically send money from Wave to that number.
Cham, let me help you out.
Wouldn't that help?
Let me help you out here. The moment you have an NAFA app, an NAFA account, AfriMoney account, Q Money account, Wave account, or just like in Oriman, you have money in there.
Yeah, that's what
these are linked already.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
No, they are linked already. Because when you go into the Ticketor app, the moment you open it, it will give you all these options. It will ask you, what do you want to do? Support you, because you have an account already.
Yeah.
We're not asking you to have a Wave account. You have it already.
Yeah.
If you don't have one, you will have the other.
Yeah.
So if you don't have any of this, we're also giving the opportunity to do the conventional support.
Yeah, that's perfect.
A conventional support, carry money from your pocket, your wallet, and drop it in any of these. The sports council is also there. The bank accounts are there. Any of these things that are available to you, kindly make sure that, they are, you use them. So, and we are also open, even if you want us to collect it, we'll collect it from you. And the good and beautiful thing about these things that if you donate, it gives an affirmation, a confirmation that telling you that thank you for whatever it is that you've donated, and we appreciate it. It's a certificate.
And there are people who are monitoring this.
Yes, in real time. The NCC people are monitoring, the fundraising committee are monitoring this thing.
So this
in real time, they see on a daily basis what's donated. We can report back to the public every day. This is what we've raised.
Okay, this is the members of the fundraising committee.
Yes, yes,
or
yes.
Professional.
No. You can. Those people can see it. We can see it.
Okay.
In real time. Right. So we're all monitoring the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Honorable. That's now we know how to donate. Now we know. But over the last, few days since you started the campaign, I've been watching social media. I've been talking to the people, and much of what the people are saying is they want to see this initiative as an initiative that is a national initiative, and that's why I think you are important in here for people to see this as a national program, and not just a section or a group's program. Because I've seen that people, who have problems with the GFF or who have criticizing GFF to say, no, we will not give our fund to GFF, etc., etc. Yeah. And I think it's important now, especially in the NCC, you come forward to come and say exactly what this initiative is all about, and how it should be everybody's interest and not, interests of
a particular group. No, you're right, Mr. Chairman. I think I've also seen that because I do follow the social media, and I've seen a few people say those kind of comments. We don't really have control over what people say, but I think you said it right. Every Gambian and non-Gambian alike living in the country must see the Gambia's participation in AFCON, just like how every other African country sees it. We are not an island. What we see in other countries is what Gambians also need to understand, that football is everybody's interest. But when the national team, yes, they are the body responsible for the management, which is the Football Federation. There's a government responsible for the financing and coordinating. But when we qualify, it's the Gambia that qualifies. Yeah. And it is the Gambian flag that they are going to represent there. It is the entire country that is being celebrated in Ivory Coast. And when they mention football, they're not going to mention Football Federation or Ministry or anybody. They're going to say the Gambia. So I think every Gambian must see this as an issue that belongs to all of us. And if you want to contribute, we contribute. We're not forcing people. We're just requesting that Gambians contribute. But we know that the greater chunk of it is going to come from the central government, and the central government is preparing to do that. Yeah. What we want is for Gambians also to contribute so that we are able to raise the funds that are necessary to be able to take care of the team. But if people don't want to, or some of them don't want to, we will understand that. But I think what is clear is there is a central coordinating committee.
Exactly.
And that central coordinating committee is a stakeholder-based committee where the ministry is, just like the Gambia Football Federation is, just like the sport journalist media is, and then, like I said, the private sector is there. We have Papa Yusuf Njai of Unique Solution heading the logistics committee.
Okay.
We have Lamin Manga being part of the committees, the media committee and the fundraising committee. And we have the Ministry of Foreign Affairs also there. So when we meet, we are not meeting as a sector. We are meeting as a National Coordinating Committee of Gambians and Gambian Association, raising funds to take care of what belongs to all of us as a country. So we want to request for Gambians out there, both in the Gambia and the diaspora, to contribute. Last time, of course, not last year.
It's last year, actually.
Or last year, AFCON, yeah. So the last time, 2022 AFCON, we had some little contribution from Gambians. We have institutions supporting, and we want bigger than that. I think the excitement that all of us put in football, we need to demonstrate it now when we qualify to say, well, little as it may be, this is my personal contribution or my institution's contribution towards the Gambia's success. And we will be proud to say this association supported or this individual supported.
So the assurance is given. I mean, people who have misgivings about who do I give the money, so how is it going to be accountable? You're now assuring that there's a national body. Not just one sector, but responsible for the receiving, administering of this fund to ensure that the money is judiciously spent.
Yes, that is very well assured. And the account is, like Mr. Sise said, we have two accounts, one at the Trust Bank and another one at EcoBank. And these are accounts that are co-managed by all of us. Ministry, Sport Council, the Gambia Football Federation, and then there's a secretariat. So there is an accountability process in terms of raising of requests, payments that are made, and of course we understand that government also have its own procedures in procurement, and these are all things that are going to be followed. Now when it comes to payment of the players in terms of their camping allowance and their match bonuses, that is paid in cash, but the rest of it, what you pay to a hotel, what you pay to an airline, is paid directly from a bank to a bank. So that is the assurance we want to give to Gambians, and we want to, again, I understand the speculations and all that, but one thing I know, that people that are there are responsible enough, and they are people of integrity, and they will do the right thing, and then ensure that whatever is donated goes into what is supposed to be. That's what we can tell people.
You mentioned players, and I'm sure they are central, integral in all these things, and I'm sure your committee, the NCC, regard them as such.
Yes.
Now, I understand the Gambia Football Federation has a sort of a method how they pay players in terms of camping, bonuses, and etc. They often said that there are always arrears between the GFF and the footballers. The GFF themselves admitted they owe them $3 million or some dollars or so, out of promises that you yourself made when you said everybody, when they reach a certain stage, they qualify, they should get $10,000 each. Yeah. They didn't get that, and you promised that.
They did.
They did.
Well, of course. I mean, right when the money came.
Because when the money came.
Yeah, no, you know, that there was a portion that was blown out of proportion, and people did not understand what was being said. And everybody who listened to my statement there in Cameroon when we went there, because I was here, but when I traveled and we went there, we wanted the boys to win.
Yes.
And we said, myself, the Football Federation president, and everybody else sat down and said, okay, this is what we need to do to motivate the players. Let's promise them that if they win, we are going to give them $10,000 each from the money that was going to be given by CAF. And that was how it was announced. Because when I went up there, I said we have agreed, because once you reach the quarterfinal, you are entitled to a particular payment from CAF. And we said when you win, we would give you $10,000 each from what CAF is going to give.
That's going to be from the CAF.
Yes. And that was said. And when they won, we know that when we come back, when the CAF money comes, we're supposed to give them that money. Or GFF is supposed to give them that money because it doesn't come to government. And then when it happened, that's how he said. Now, one of the guys, I remember him saying, oh, they promised us this, but they did not give us that.
Yes.
And that became what people took and ran away with it. But eventually, even colleague players themselves rectified him to say that it was supposed to be CAF money. It was not money that we were giving.
I see.
Now, what we promised them there, which we did, is we told them that when they're in our match against Mali, we were going to pay them a double bonus.
Yes.
And if they win, they're entitled to a double bonus. If they draw, they're entitled to a double. Now, they did not win, but they drew. But we needed a draw to be able to qualify for the next stage.
Because there's qualification, there's that incentive for qualifying.
Yes.
As well as winning.
Yes, there is. So we get they got what they were supposed to get for winning or for drawing, and they got what they were supposed to get for moving to the next stage. And they got all that. Now, that was not a controversial issue. But again, anybody who is in the sport anywhere, you know that there is a way to motivate players. And yes, incentivizing the players would include matches and other things. And we do that to encourage them to do better. And that's what we did. So the double bonus for the Gambia match against Mali was paid right there in Cameroon. And then when we came back, when the CAF money was eventually sent to the JFF, they paid them all their $10,000 each. That is why you never heard about any player complaining about it. But the people ran away with it and continue to talk about it. But there is no player who said, I was not paid. They owe us money. When the CAF money came, they gave them all of that, including the bonuses that they were supposed to pay them for qualifying. I think that was also an arrear that was paid. So we don't, as far as I know, there is nothing that's owed. But again, Gambians also must understand that in football, especially in the African sector, where sponsorship for football is very limited, there cannot be that avoidance. Yeah, we cannot avoid that issues of owing players match bonuses or allowance. No, not the allowance, but match bonuses. Because sometimes, you know, you go out there, you don't have probably enough funds, but you play. And then when they win, you're supposed to pay them 100% bonus. I mean, sometimes you don't have all the funds, or JFF don't have all the funds. They give them what they have and say, we will give it. If you follow African football, that's almost very common across the board. You know, so these are things that people must understand. But we must reach a conclusion, you know, I mean, an agreement. People don't, when you raise fund money, they're telling you they're asking for too much. When you don't pay players or you owe players, then they come in defense of the players. The two cannot go. You either have to be ready to match up yourself with other countries and pay what they do. Otherwise, you are at the lower level. And the citizens understand that we don't have the resources. And when we cannot pay, they should understand that it's just that we cannot. But if you ask for money, they say you're asking for too much. If you don't pay, they said, oh, why didn't you pay them? It's difficult. Now, but we'll do our best, ask people that are responsible, and deliver as expected.
Of course, we know at the end of the day, it's the government that pays the bulk of the money, so whether it's the qualifiers or the tournament proper, etc. It happened last year. But the GFF always say that when they ask for 20 million budgets, they end up getting only 11 from you. When they ask 12, they end up getting 5 from you. Is it because is that a reflection of priorities of governments or money that is available, or what?
No, that is not the case all the time.
Most of the time.
No, maybe sometimes. Because there was a time that nobody was even hearing about this issue of giving government money, government giving them less.
Yes.
We were paying almost 100%, or maybe 100% might be too much, but almost close to that. If they give us a budget, we take care of it. Now, what happened was, in the last 1.5 years, or let me say this AFCON qualifiers, there has been a huge increase from what was originally been spent and what we are spending now. And there's an issue, because there's sometimes when, for instance, Football Federation would negotiate something with the players and we would not be aware. And then eventually they will put it in the budget and then ask for us to pay it. And we did not forecast it. We were not ready for it. So if you players say, oh, you want an increase in match bonuses from this much to that, and then you go ahead and agree with that without us knowing. Now, when you give us a budget and say, oh, we need to pay 50% increment to match bonuses for players, we might not be able to provide that. And you know, so these are one of the reasons why. But in the end, we've had a meeting with the JFF a couple of months ago, and I told them that if we have the funds, we will provide it. But let people go and look into our national budget and see whether they will see anywhere in the budget where there is allocation for international competition. It's not there. So we're only using the levy to be able to finance these activities.
The sports levy?
Yes. Okay. And how much is that generating? It's not much. It's about 6-point-something million per month.
So if you multiply that by 12. When the budget, not to digress from the Scorpions, when the budget was presented, people saw that very little money has been allocated to your ministry. People felt disappointed and they think that your government is not serious about youths, that you're supposed to be youths and sports, yet you are giving a pittance compared to other ministries. How do you make, well, the government argued that the youth matter is addressed in other sectors, on the other sector. That's what the government always argued. But many people believe that you have not been given enough money to be able to carry out a lot of programs. I mean, you are part of the government, of course, you cannot, you can't disagree too much with that. But the feeling is that you don't have much money. How do you lobby when this budget allocation, when they have these bilaterals? How do you defend your ministry? Why do you always end up having the least money when you're supposed to have the biggest constituency?
Well, I wish we would have one of the biggest. I mean, as minister in charge, and I understand the pressures we have from all this, not just football, but athletics, volleyball, all of them, you know, sports together.
They said you give your money all to football.
Yes, I
When you
mean,
talk to them,
not
that's
all
what-
of them. I have to be very fair. Yes, a greater percentage goes to football. That is true. I'm not going to deny that. But also, we take care of volleyball.
Yeah, that's good. Right
You know,
now.
there is if you follow the media, there's a lot of improvement
Achievement,
for
yes,
volleyball,
especially
achievement.
beach volleyball.
You know, beach volleyball and regular volleyball. They've been doing well in the continent, and government is putting money in that area. Athletics, we've been putting our money in there also, and we've seen the results. But yes. And I wish, and that's one of the things that people must understand. And sometimes they push me to the corner. I said, look, you need to understand that I'm not taking money from my pocket to give. I'm giving only what is allocated to us. But the understanding there is if you fail to deliver, you are incompetent. It is not the case because we don't generate funds. We use what is given. But government have done their best. The allocation in the budget is small. But like I said, there is an introduction of that levy where we are now able to finance some of the activities that we're doing. And if it gets to a very difficult moment, government would use from some other sectors. Example, this AFCON that is coming, we're not taking from the levy because you cannot even have money to use. You already use the levy for qualifications. But government is going to give money from other sources that are not budgeted for. And then another example would be the stadium renovation. President himself said we did not have it in the 2023 budget. But when it came to a level where it must be done, government used funds from other sources to do it. So these things are there. That is not the ideal thing. To be frank, yes, government, but the ideal thing is to see the youth and sports sector as an important sector that must be catered for. We cannot ask for enough because all the other sectors are struggling. But with the theming young people and the sports economy that we know is happening around the world, investment in sports can change a lot in terms of unemployment, in terms of maintaining peace, in terms of ensuring our young people are not into drugs. So that is the advocacy that we're doing.
Why do you end up having the least money?
Because finance is a process. budgeting is a process. 2 years ago, government knows what they want to give us for the next 2 years. They know what was there for 2022, 23, and 24. So they give this 3-year budget projections. And then if you go beyond, they will always cut and say, this is how much we have for the year. So it's not that, they call it program-based budgeting, but it's a program-based budgeting where there is an amount that is given to you. And so you choose what you want.
Yeah.
Now you have staffs that need to be paid salaries. You have offices that are being rented, you need to pay. There is quite a number of other activities that are ongoing. And that's where you put some of the monies, and then the rest you can use it for other activities. And this year we have 2024 we have 122 million, which is a little bit increase from last year's 117 million, but it's still, for us, it's still minimal compared to the activities. But again, these are not things that we have a say. We can lobby at the bilateral level, we can lobby at cabinet, we can lobby at the National Assembly, but in the end, it doesn't change a lot, to be frank enough.
Is it not the attitude of your government, that you consider youth and sports not to be that important to other areas?
No, I wouldn't think. I think the government sees youth and sports as important, but it's a priority among priorities. That's how I would call it. There is some that will beat us, in the competition of what are the major priorities. And it's not just about government. It's a reflection of our people. Because today, if somebody hears that, example, 10 million is spent on a hospital or medical bills, they will be happy.
Yeah.
But if you tell them we are spending 10 million on sports, some people will say, why are you spending 10 million on football alone? That's too much. It's the mindset.
Yeah, it's not, but it's not just football. I mentioned youth sports. You see, when you hear people here dying in the boats, they said, why wouldn't they die? Because government doesn't give Bakary's ministry much money, and Bakary should take care of these youths. That kind of sentiments.
I'm not going to deny. I think that's, government will always say, well, we are investing in higher education, we invest in sections, and then they will tell you, you don't sport is a cross section.
Yes.
Now, there is a lot of advocacy and a lot of talking that goes behind the scene that people don't know.
I see.
But like I said, in the end, it's a very difficult environment. Of course, fairly also, we need to understand the economic situation of the country.
That's
we don't have a lot of resources.
Yeah.
We're a tax-based economy.
Yeah.
We don't have much natural resources. Of course, not any, but we have some.
So,
we don't have much natural resources that we generate funds from. So these are the things
under the
that
circumstances, then we are doing very well.
I believe so. And, and truthfully, I do say this all the time. This government investment in the youth and sports sector far outweighs any other in the past.
Yeah.
That is a reality, because if you look at our investment in sports alone, is bigger than any other time. And I know people are fixated on these issues of calling players and give them 1 million each, and that's what they call investment. But what we are doing in the infrastructure, in terms of investing in the national teams, in volleyball, in athletics, in football, this is the first time under this government. So I think credit should be given to the government. And then, yes, we are lagging behind, but we're improving significantly over the last 5 years of President Barrow.
So Musa, update us from your committee, since you are responsible for the press. There have been reports that the team will go for a training camp in Saudi Arabia, and then from there perhaps they will be camping or meeting in Morocco and then to Banjul. What's the schedule like? The national team.
The schedule last, as you said, yes, the team would be leaving Banjul for Saudi Jeddah on the 27th, where they will be converging.
When you say they will leave Banjul, the boys are all over the world. Are they coming to Banjul and go to Saudi, or are they going to move from there?
The local staffs from here would depart Banjul on the 27th, just as the other, wherever they are from the various, locations in Europe, and converge in Saudi on that day. Just when the training camp would begin. They will be there for 9 or 10 days when they'll fly into Morocco, where they'll be playing a test game against the Moroccans, and then fly into Banjul on the 7th of January. The team departs Banjul 27th of December and return home as the entire team to collect the battle flag. On the 7th, they'll be here for the 8th and the 9th, and depart again depart Banjul for Ivory Coast on the 10th. But during those 2 days, that is the 8th and the 9th, Honorable will be very happy to announce that now that the team would all be given diplomatic passports to travel on.
You should have saved that for him.
Yeah, that's why.
You should have saved that.
That's what I had to use him.
Oh yeah.
So
then go ahead.
So yes, they'll be processing that on that 8th of January when they're in town, to doing all the biometrics and everything, and then flying out in Banjul with those passports. In the evening there is a planned music concert, fundraising concert. The venue will be confirmed soon. That is to be done by the Gambian artists. We're giving the opportunity to also show their patriotism, nationalism in trying to support the national team, and we're going to use that to raise funds. And all that collection of tickets will be done through Ticketo app in terms of because we don't want people coming down, buy my ticket, and all those things. There will be a special sensitization on it when we are ready, and all the artists taking part, because we're trying to consult the artists right now to tell them how we want this thing to happen. The following day, they'll have an exhibition training match at the stadium in the afternoon, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6. The time will be mentioned, and of course the public is invited to come in, but of course you have to pay to get into the stadium, so that we can raise funds. Yes. And in the evening is when the dinner with the corporate body and entities with the president will be held at State House, where the battle flag will be handed over to the captain. And then, of course, the following day is when the team on the 10th would leave Banjul for Ivory Coast. This is the plan right now, which the technical committee has, headed by Ibufai, has announced. And then this is what is accepted to the coach and the management of the national team that we're going to go by whilst they're here in Banjul.
Interesting. So yes, you said you were going to make them diplomats, so to speak.
Yes. No, that is that is the government position.
It's a new incentive, right?
Led by the president. Yes. Like I said, I just said it before Musa Sise came in about government's interest in sports and what we need to do to incentivize the players and encourage them, not just football, but other sectors. And so President gave approval to grant the national team the diplomatic passports, but not only them. We also identify Gina Bas, Ibrahim Kamara in the athletics, to also be given similar diplomatic passport. They already processed theirs when they were here recently when Gina got married. And, so a similar thing will be extended, I think, hopefully to the volleyball, the beach volleyball players, two of them. Yeah, so that is all part of what government is doing to encourage athletics and show that they also see themselves as people that are our ambassadors, because beyond
wrestlers will soon find themselves entitled.
Yeah, I know when we start this, we looked at all those indications, because when you start that, then others will also say, but we are entitled. But there's a threshold. You must reach a particular threshold before you can be entitled to it. And we are not saying all footballers or all athletics or all volleyball. No, there is a number that is given based on their activities. Today, there is no ambassador bigger than the national team or bigger than Gina Bas or Ibrahima, because where me and others cannot reach, they go there and the Gambia's flag is up there and all of that. That is the consideration, and that is why they're giving. But it's only to give them more encouragement. And the players themselves also made that kind of plea. They've been asking for it. I remember Nda, former captain, asking Pamodu Jan, asking president when we went there for the handing over of the flag. And when they came back from AFCON, he went to him and told him that. And the president, well, Nda, this is what he asked. And, at the time we were looking at the possibilities of that. And this time around also, the captain, Omar Koli, asked for it. When they qualified, the president called them to congratulate them. They asked for it. And we discussed it. And the president gave approval that it will be granted. And that's what we, Mr. Sise is saying, when they come, they'll process it and they will get it. But again, it shows, like I said, how much government wants to encourage sports and ensure that we go beyond just the rhetorics, but acting to support the sector and incentivize the players themselves and every athletes.
Okay, Musa, let me come back to you. We go back because it's very important, the apps you mentioned. We have some 5 minutes or so to go. In terms of fundraising, when do we start?
This is up and going, Cham. It's
ongoing.
live right now. That's why it's all over the place. The flyers are out. The billboards will be out on Monday. The media campaign is ongoing. There's going to be caravans in the Greater Banjul area. The governors have been informed in the country. They are also trying to do their little bit. The fans, the Scorpions fans club are very much supportive of what's happening. They're also going around raising funds. So it's a national thing. And this is going to be an appeal because as we said, we can only appeal. It's not a compulsory.
It's not an appeal. This is a mission that everybody must.
But we are talking to your brothers and sisters. From who?
From
not the minister.
The minister from the state.
Not the minister.
It's an order from the state.
The minister will be hanged if he give that order. So you have people still questioning why are funds being raised, and but we don't entertain those kind of things. It's our belief. It is our belief. It's a national thing. We just want to instill a little bit of nationalism when it comes to our success.
Exactly.
And people misunderstand that this is not about the honorable minister, not about the federation. This is about us as a people, as Gambians. If you cannot give us $100, I don't know what can you give this country. This country has given you so much. What in return can you give us? So we are just appealing, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing, whatever your little earnings are, be seen to be giving us something in return and be proud. Be proud to say that, Aidaba was just saying something very important. To prick the conscience of some of these players. If we happen to tell them, even our mothers or these Gertasaf dealers on the street were able to contribute to the success. That's going to put something in them. My God, even those people,
that will really.
It's going to boost their morals. So these are some of the things that we need to tell the public. It's an appeal and will remain an appeal. Whatever you do, you've given the platform, you've given the opportunities, the options are open, you have a choice. However, whatever you want to do, whatever is in your possession, give us a little bit of it, and we are happy.
Minister, finally, how much is the enthusiasm of your cabinet colleagues about this AFCON? They know, of course, about it.
They're very excited about it.
You were in cabinet on Thursday.
Yes.
Did you take the opportunity to tell them that this thing is coming? How much?
No, they know.
They know.
Of course. We have a president who is a football fan, he's a sport fan, and he follows everything.
You don't convince him to be on the plane, at least for the first match between Gambia and Senegal. That would be good, eh?
Well, hopefully, yes. I don't, we didn't talk about that. Yeah. But he, even when he went to the stadium the other week, he did say that once work is ready, the first match, he promised that he's going to come and watch. And I believe he would do that, like you said. And hopefully when we get to a certain stage in the AFCON, he will come. He will definitely come and watch. But I know cabinet is so much interested. The president himself has tax cabinet that we also must contribute. Every cabinet member must contribute
the list is going to go around.
To the AFCON. So and the last AFCON they did. Yes. We have the whole cabinet himself contributed. I remember him giving us $20,000,
yes.
And then the rest of the cabinet members contributed $20,000, $25,000. But the president himself was insisting that everybody does. And this time around, he has asked us to contribute, and I'm sure we would do the same thing like we did in the past. But again, even government, by extension, there is a circular that is supposed to go to all government institutions to say contribute something towards AFCON. So every ministry will ask their staff. It's not compulsory. You're just asking for people to contribute, and then ministry will give that this is what came from the Ministry of Energy or the Ministry of Fisheries or Ministry of Water Resources, things like that. And then, we hope that the civil servants will also do their best in ensuring that we generate the revenue. And again, like Mrs. said, football everywhere is expensive, and I want Gambians that we are not competing alone. We are competing with other countries. And the way you present yourself, the way you come out onto the field, and how much you're able to motivate your players contributes greatly towards the results you get. Yes, football is not just what happens on the pitch. It is, but there's a lot more work that happens behind the scenes. That is on the psyche of the players and your opponent, and that also has financial implications. You know, and chartering a flight alone to those rounds that they are talking about is expensive. They have to come from Saudi to Morocco, from Morocco to Banjul, from Banjul to Yamoussoukro, and the fans and the media also needs to go 2 days or 3 days after that, and then we need to come back again. So, and then if you go to Yamoussoukro, the fans that are going, their accommodation, their feeding, their tickets to go and watch the matches, their internal transport, all is going to be borne by the NCC. And this is part of all of the funds that we are raising. But again, we have had a significant increment in terms of match bonuses and camping allowance compared to what we used to give before.
And
so all of that is,
in
paying in euros now. I mean, that has been the trend. So all of these are all cost related, and we hope that we'll be able to raise the funds to do that. And I think Gambians will say, oh, well, they don't want us to criticize. No, I don't think anybody don't want anybody to criticize. We were open to, I mean, people have criticized multiple times. We don't respond to it, but we learn from it and we improve on what we're doing. And like I said, there is the first time we were babies, newcomers into AFCON, things happen here and there, we learn from it. And that's why this time around, somebody like me is like fully getting involved to ensure everything is done. Every other person is there, and we have brought in people that were not in the last AFCON. Papa Yusuf and Lamin Manga were not there, but this time around, we know they have connections, we know they're exposed, and they can help a lot in terms of getting things done. Papa Yusuf and is the Ivorian Council in Gambia. He has a lot of connections in Ivory Coast, and he's doing so well. He's the head of the logistics. So accommodation issue, transport issue,
almost done.
You know, is under his leadership, and they're almost completed. They just came back on a mission in Ivory Coast. They were there. They went last Saturday, and stayed 4 days. And they came back last Wednesday, himself, a representative of the ministries, JFF, and then Minister of Foreign Affairs. And all those 4 days, they went to the hotels where the teams are going to be, the fans and everybody, and they went to the football stadium where we're playing. They went and had a discussion with Air Ivory Coast. And one thing about the chartering of the flight, we are avoiding third parties. You know, so this time around, we want to deal directly with the airlines themselves. Because the last time we had brokers, and then we know what happened when we were about to return. And, you know, it was taken out of proportion, but, you know, that's what happens when you have middlemen. So this time around, the fact that it's Ivory Coast and there is Air Ivory Coast, we want to deal directly with the Air Ivory Coast for them to send the plane that is going to take people and then bring them back. So all of these are ongoing, and we're almost at the tail end. We're supposed to make the initial payment for the securing of the hotels. And, you know, then we'll make, after the signing of the contract on Monday, hopefully. But things are going well. As far as we are concerned, we're happy. What is left now is to prepare the boys technically. And also raise the funds to be able to meet up the demand of the cost.
Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, Bakary Badjie, Chairman of the National Coordinating Committee. Thank you very much, Musa Sise, Chairman of the same committee responsible for media and publicity. Thank you all for coming on the brunch. Well, the fundraising campaign particularly is on at the moment. Go for this app they call Ticketo, and once you get that, you go in there and you find all the methods you can contribute. You know, also watch out for the collection boxes. And the GoFund also started everywhere by many people everywhere. Anywhere you can contribute.
Absolutely.
Just do it as we count down.
Do it for Gambia.
To the big kickoff, especially the 15th when we meet on with Senegal.
Amen.
The brunch will be back next week, inshallah. And I hope the brunch will be in the Ivory Coast one day during the tournament. So we can bring you all. So we leave that with God. We'll be back next week. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Yes.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.